Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. In today's video, we are diving into the magical waters of Cancer because both Jupiter and Mercury will be making their grand entrance into the sign, going deeply into the emotional and intuitive energy. Let's see what that is going to be about. We're going to talk about it. We're going to address it. We're going to talk about how these cosmic shifts are going to affect us when it comes to our heart, our conversations, our family, our history, and and let's see how this is going to affect the predictions going on and some common themes because we are talking about a collective energy. So if you are here for that, then you are at the right place.
3, 2, 1.
I love you.
Okay, I do want you to know that I have done a video on Jupiter entering Cancer already. So go ahead and check out previous. That is in my 2025 playlist. If you go ahead and check that out, then you will get more details of everything that's going to happen in the predictions of 2025. And I do have the video Jupiter entering Cancer. I go in deep and I talk about some stuff. Now, before we even get started, I want to talk about this book. This is in connection to what we are discussing today. And the name of this book is A Return to Love, and it's by Mariam Williamson. From heartfelt connections to emotional breakthroughs, we are talking about this Cancer energy, and it's also some themes that I was reading in this book. Okay, page 98. Okay, she talks about relationships here. I have some highlights and bookmarks here. Actually, yes, and it's about relationships. And actually, let me. It was so telling of how it is connected to this. So it is chapter 6. It's about relationships. The Holy Spirit's temple is not a body, but a relationship. Okay. And it has different themes within a relationship. And one of them is giving up judgment. Judgment is not an attribute of God. Okay. Whenever we are contemplating attacking someone else, it is as though we are holding a sword to ourselves or above our head. The sword, however, doesn't fall on them. Actually, I need to turn up my brightness. It falls on us. Since all thought is thought about ourselves, then to condemn another is to condemn ourselves. How do we escape judgment? And I'm going to tell you how this correlates to the Cancer energy. Okay. We do this through forgiveness. And the reason why I'm bringing up Cancer is because Cancer likes to hold the grudges. Cancer likes to live in the past. And if someone treats us with love, then of course we act appropriately to that response. If someone treats us out of fear, then we use that from the behavior out of, if someone treats us with fear, we are to see their behavior as a call for needing love. Okay. And she also goes into detail, and I'm not trying to sell this book. I'm really into self-help books and I'm into literature as a whole because I have a strong Gemini placements. But because we are talking about forgiveness and releasing forgiveness, and also too there's judgment when you are not releasing judgment. When you're not releasing forgiveness. And she talks about how you give love. For example, people who are in prison, you put them in prison because they're guilty of something. And what does that teach them, right? It doesn't really teach them love, it teaches them fear. So if we act out of love when we're judging someone, then that leads more to a loving environment instead of living in a place of fear. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. The Lord means relinquish the idea of vengeance. God balances all wrong, but not through attack, judgment, or punishment. On the contrary to how it feels, which is very important because Cancer is all about the emotions. When we are lost, the emotions that tempt us to judge, there's no such things in righteous anger. Okay, so basically, in a nutshell, I'm hoping this makes sense. Okay, she is talking about judgment and how judgment is linked to forgiveness, and forgiveness is very strong with Cancer because Cancer constantly lives in the past. And we have Jupiter entering Cancer, we have Mercury entering Cancer. Jupiter stays in one sign for roughly a year, okay, and it will retrograde. And while we're retrograding in a sign Cancer, we're going to have issues of releasing and letting go and forgiveness, okay? Judgment is ultimately self-condemnation. When we judge others, we're also judging ourselves. The remedy is forgiveness and seeing others' behavior as calls for love rather than to attack. So when you feel like you're judging someone because they're acting out of place, think of it as that they are lacking love and they need love, not that they're out there to sabotage you. Okay. True balance and healing doesn't come from vengeance or anger. That's God's job to do the vengeance. It's not our job, but it comes from compassion and seeing beyond fear. Cancer's relationship with the past and feeling. Remember that Cancer is ruled by the moon. Okay. And there is memory when you're dealing with the moon. There is feelings and there's emotional cycles, and the moon is constantly changing. So we can constantly change and we can adapt. Okay. And Jupiter, Mercury in Cancer is about our thoughts and our words. And while it's in Cancer, it's going to be revisiting and talking backwards and having old memories and reflecting and talking about unspoken feelings. Get ready for that when we are entering this energy when it comes to forgiving and releasing and letting go. Also, that's a Pisces energy too, but also detoxing the judgment, okay? Because Mercury in Cancer is going to challenge us to rethink how we speak about others and letting go of words from the past and letting go of the wounds from the past, okay? Jupiter in Cancer, we are asked to expand our emotional awareness by healing the past and building emotional security, expanding emotional sensitivity, compassion, and nurturing, and softening that judgment. Okay. Jupiter is the planet of law and judgment. Okay, so all of us needs to release the judgment. Okay, these cancering trait transits that are coming, they align beautifully with this book here that I'm mentioning here. And it has nothing to do with me. I'm just every time I do a video, I'm going to link it to a book here, and they amplify the call for love and the power of forgiveness in relationships, even relationships with yourself and God. Okay, yeah. So get ready to reflect and get ready to forgive and get ready to let go of harsh judgment, because when you are doing a harsh judgment, it's really on yourself. Okay. So now let's talk about Mercury in Cancer. First, I want to say that June 8th, okay, June 8th, Mercury is going to conjunct Jupiter. I already did a video on June 5th, and that's when Venus enters Taurus. I did that video. Check out that video. That was the very last live video, and I did the horoscopes. Now we are talking about, I'm filming this June 2nd, so we got some time, but June 8th, Mercury is going to conjunct Jupiter. I talked about this actually in the last video too. Now I want you to understand that this conjunction is going to be a very strong conjunction because it's at 29 degrees, okay? So let me put up my chart here. Which it should have been already prepped. But here we go. So I'm going to pull up my chart and we're going to put it up to now. And what we have for June 8th here, if you see here, these two 29 degrees, they are conjunct in the sign Gemini. 29 degrees is a strong degree, okay? And when you have this, you have intellect with conviction, a broad expansion of the mind, wide range of interest and curiosity. On that day, because Mercury moves really fast, okay, people are going to be feeling either very optimistic. Conjunctions are strong, but they could be either good or bad. Now, Jupiter is involved, so I'm thinking it's going to mostly be big. If it's not, positive. If it's not positive, that means it's really big, expensive, because Jupiter expands everything. So there could be a knowledge of education. This also could be a very positive time for buying and selling because Mercury represents that trade. And it's a grateful time for planning and negotiation. Also curiosity with religion, because there is a religious aspect when you're dealing with Jupiter. Details of religion, because Mercury represents the details. Jupiter represents the religion. Mercury also represents the search. And in Jupiter, it represents the meaning. So there could be a search for meaning. Now, when you have it in a sign Gemini, Mercury is at home in Gemini. Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. Gemini is a lot of research, learning, discussing, communicating, all that. So all this could be discussed or learned under this transit, okay? And this is a very powerful day. Jupiter also represents spacious and space, and Mercury represents thinking. So thinking of a lot of space, of thinking of a lot of, not outer space, but just like beyond. Everyone move out the way kind of energy, okay? The significance of the words in communication, teaching and preaching. This is the student meeting the teacher. The student is Mercury, the teacher is Jupiter. Mercury represents more circular, and Jupiter represents the holy, the religion. So this is also that aspect that could be combined. There is a purpose with significance. This is the act of persuading and convincing. Jupiter represents the good. It is a benefic planet, and Mercury represents the idea. So there could be a great idea or a positive thought or a positive communication. On a positive side, this is also very amazing for anyone who's in higher education. This is great thirst for knowledge and striving for anything that's beyond knowledgeable. Okay. There is an entrance in philosophy. This conjunction is great for any type of learning. Okay. It can also be added meaning and purpose into harmony with each other. I don't know, there could be a typo there, but it does represent some form of happiness and optimism too. Okay, not some form, but is. Mercury represents translation, any type of language, translating a language, and communication. So there is some positivity when it comes to linguistics of some sort. This conjunction is also striving for higher perceptions. Mercury does represent commerce and trade, so there could be abundance or over exaggeration of commerce and trade as well. Okay. It amplifies curiosity, huge conversations, huge breakthroughs and insights. On the negative side, right? This conjunction could be good or positive. Could be positive or negative. And on the negative side, you can feel like you are mentally overstimulated. Okay, there could be recklessness, there could be arrogant thinking, there could be hollow thoughts, there could be exaggerating with words, exaggerating with your understanding. There could be some mental laziness here because you're just there's presumptions happening here. There is someone who's pretending to be a scholar as well. There is going to be a time where you're completely uncritical when it comes to your own thoughts and perceptions. You're talking way too much. You're sharing way too many details, way too many information, overly optimistic, very arrogant, boastful speech, talking on promising on a lot of things, over promising and saying a lot, doing too much. Okay. A lot of talking and no action to back it up. Okay. Now, potential overload because Gemini moves fast, and this conjunction could be scattered focus, overwhelmed information, or overload of information. Okay. So watch out for, it's a great time to travel too. There is a traveling with this aspect on a smaller plane and on a bigger plane. So literally planes too. Writing of any sorts of, manifesting any ideas or sharing any ideas is a great time. But just remember everything in moderation. It has a 29 degree. 29 degrees is an urgent degree. Okay. 29 degrees is why we had the fires in LA. Okay. So 29 degrees is very strong. There's like, hurry up. It's critical. It's like rapid. Everything's got to move fast because it's like, hurry up. We got to close this out. We're about to go into the next sign. So I'm just thinking a lot of information and it's coming up really fast. Okay. A lot of people speaking up, sharing their ideas, or maybe there's a closing out of a mental cycle. So it's like something's going to happen. But 29 degrees is a karmic degree. It's a closing out degree. It's completion. It is like we got to hurry up because now we're going on to the next chapter. Okay. Advice for this conjunction, which is positive. Okay. Don't rush. Don't hold back. Be mindful of what really matters. Honor the final lesson. What is the final lesson? While Jupiter and Mercury are in Gemini together, be open to big ideas and ground them. Focus on what feels real and lasting. Okay. Now, as a collective, there could be something really big on the news that is happening. There's something that could be happening to podcasters, to announcers, to journalists, to writers, to authors, to storytellers, to teachers, to students. That could be something really big. Something big with religion and law, because Jupiter does represent law, but we are talking about in the sign Gemini. So I do think that it could be something dealing with a community, your neighbors or siblings, or on a collective level, like a famous sibling or a famous neighbor. Okay. So there could be that. Gemini also is a flip-flopper. Okay. So there could be a huge debate happening in on this day. But big burst of conversation, sudden decision, or a huge announcement. And it's a very last minute announcement or like a wrapping up of an announcement. Something dealing with media about education. Gemini does represent schools. It also represents technology and commerce and trade. So there could be some missteps or being over exaggerated when it comes to trade, or announcement when it comes to trade, something like that. A lot of confusion, people making promises that they can't keep. That could be happening. So if a leader of some sort makes an announcement and it seems too grandiose, they can't keep that promise. Okay. Just be mindful of your words, listen as much as you can speak, and trust that the ending is clearing and that there is making something new, making new space for something. Okay. Mercury and Jupiter, 29 degrees in Gemini, is a cosmic mic drop, literally mic drop, because the mic represents communication. It's the final word on an idea, a message, or ending of a chapter, closing a book. It is your chance to speak your truth boldly and wrap up old mental cycles so you can have fresh starts to the next sign. And the next sign is Jupiter and Mercury. Well, really Mercury we'll talk about right now. Mercury enters the sign of Cancer. Okay, when Mercury enters Cancer, and again, I told you how I discussed in my last video, Jupiter entering Cancer. So you do have that. I discussed how Jupiter affects, in the sign Cancer, will affect America if you live in the US. I talked about collective predictions. I talked about past trends and how that is going to look currently for us. And I even talked about some more events socially for Jupiter entering Cancer. So I won't talk about any of those things in this video. In this video, you get something different. Now, but let's talk about Mercury entering Cancer. And before I start that, please don't forget to show me some love. Give me some love, you guys. Okay. I do this for free. I actually do this for the thumbs up. So that's you paying me. Also, too, please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. Now, I do have some free stuff. If you want the weekly transits, I give that out every Monday in my newsletter. Sign up for that. I tell you the themes of the week so you can know what you're up to, and you can always revert to the email. I also give some bonus tips on there. So we'll do Jupiter in Cancer. I give bonus tips on how to handle any huge transit of the week or of the month. That is shown in my emails as well. If you want some more free stuff, I can teach you. There's a free tool on how to read tarot, because I'm a tarot reader. So that is down below. Now, also, if you're like, I like a little bit more, you can join my group. It is my private community. I have some very interesting tea on there. Okay. I do things that you shouldn't be doing on the YouTube or on the podcast. That is in the community group. I do readings on celebrities, on politicians. All that is on there. Okay. So I did Kanye. I've done Karen Bass. I've done Gavin Newsom. A lot of people. So that is all on there behind the paywall with the secrets. Okay. Also, I give things, if you are like, I don't care about everyone else, I care about me. I have extra things just for us individually, how you can soothe yourself to your Venus sign, how you can find your best friend, why your best friend is your best friend on your Venus sign, or even love interest, or a lot of Mercury retrograde toolkits, eclipse, all that stuff. A lot of powerful readings too. Okay. So all that is on there. So please check out that. Now let's talk about Mercury entering the sign Cancer. Okay. So enters the sign Cancer June 9th. Things will be slowing down when it comes to communication. Conversations might be more careful and sensitive and cautious. We will be discussing things of ancestry, okay? Because Cancer is all about your family history and your roots, and Mercury makes you curious about those things, okay? Creative writing and storytelling, because it's a great time to journal, write poetry, or captive your feelings through art. Cancer and all the water signs are very creative energy, especially because it's about the matters of the heart, and your emotions are involved with it, right? Mercury likes things that are very comfortable, and not Mercury. Cancer likes things that are very comfortable and familiar. So you are going to have some safe spaces when it comes to communicating, or things that are very familiar. Okay. Conversations will feel easier when you're in a cozy and nurturing environment. And that's what Mercury in Cancer creates. Okay. So emotional communication, intuitive thinking, a lot of nostalgia while Mercury's in Cancer, family conversations, protective instincts, sentimental ideas, emotional overload. Conversations can be a little moody and sensitive. Get ready for that. There's empathy when listening. Empathetic responses, a lot of motherly energy. Okay. Family stories and family ancestry. I can't say that enough. Sentimental journaling, emotional healing, Things that are left unsaid. There's some gentle truths happening with this placement. Emotional boundaries, learning to protect your energy. Home decor, a lot of nesting, a lot of discussions of your house, real estate, compassion, compassionate advice, caring, gentle guidance, retreat in silence. Sometimes silence just says Cancer energy, because Cancer wants to be withdrawal and wants to be a homebody, and private conversations and creative flows and expressing deep feelings. Now, remember, it's a very emotional sign. It's very moody. Mercury will be ruled by the moon now. The moon changes signs every 2.5 days. Okay. So you could be overthinking emotions. You could be passive aggressive when it comes to communication. A lot of moodiness, a lot of holding grudges, a lot of oversensitivity, people avoiding directness because the crab is the Cancer, and the crab likes to move sideways. It doesn't like to move straight forward. So when it comes to communicating and thinking, it won't ask you directly or ask in a roundabout way. Okay. Also, too, clinging to the past. And that's what I started this video off of, talking about forgiveness and holding grudges. So you do have that while Mercury's in Cancer. Emotional manipulation, fear of vulnerability, family drama, drama with the mama, okay, even drama with your father, because Cancer represents where you feel safe, your roots, misunderstandings, letting assumptions or unspoken feelings create confusion, inconsistent communication, being emotionally exhausted, need for reassurance, clingy is very Cancer. Crab likes to hold on tight, and needy for words, suspicious, distrustful, letting insecurity color your perceptions, playing it safe. A lot of gossips and secrets could be happening because you're letting your emotional curiosity become the gossip instead of real connection. Resistance to change, resistance to changing the way you think because you're stuck in that past. Okay. Trust your gut, not just your head. Listen to your heart. Stay present. Don't get lost in the things of the past. Don't cling on to old patterns. Soften your words. Kindness goes a long way. Also, when you're dealing with empathy, take that in and really love it. Okay. Now we are going to talk about the date of Mercury while it's in Cancer. So let me bring up the chart, even though you see it already. Okay, so June 9th, once Mercury enters Cancer, and Jupiter will be doing the same thing, but once Mercury enters Cancer, it's going to square this conjunction here, this Saturn in Aries and then Neptune in Aries. They're sitting very close to each other. So this is going to be some heavy conversations. This is going to be limited in responsibilities of conversations. You're dealing with something in Aries, so it could be something of the self, something singular, something new, something bold, something that's very like aggressive. Okay. And when you have Neptune, it clouds the clarity and it brings illusion and emotional fog. So this is a time to sort through your facts versus feelings, and don't let self-doubt silence your truth, and actually go with what your intuition is telling you. Now, the intuition is a little foggy over there because Neptune is dealing with that energy. However, Cancer is going to go about your feelings and your emotion. Now, that day, Mercury moves fast. If you can't, I would just suggest don't do anything that day. Okay, be creative. Let it go there. All right, June 10th. Mercury is still in the sign Cancer, and June 10th is going to quincunx Pluto, which is retrograding in Aquarius. So this is some fears here. This is some intensity. This could be some power struggles when it comes to conversations or some hidden agendas. It may bubble to the surface. Okay. Notice where you're trying to control outcomes or where you're being manipulated. It's time to adjust your boundaries. This is power to the people. It's retrograding. This is taking away free speech. It's retrograding. This is restrictions, not restrictions, but intensity and boycotting, which is power to the people. Yeah. Okay. The future. AI, okay? This is also that, and it could be causing some problems in how you communicate or something with your home. Now, on June 11th, we have that Mercury is going to sextile Venus. This is positive. And also, too, is going to sextile the Sagittarius full moon here that you have here. Why is it sextiling? It's not sextiling the full moon. Why do I have that? It's dealing, there will be a full moon. Okay. This is the same day as a full moon in Sagittarius, and a full moon is in charge of Mercury. Okay. Venus brings a gentle, grounding energy to our words. So it's encouraging some kindness, some loving communication. Now, that full moon, which is also squaring the nodes and it's also trining Mars, we'll get into that as we maybe in the next video, but it's going to intensify everything. Expect passionate truths, but also a push to find balance between personal needs and a bigger vision. Advice for you is to focus on what you value, who you want to build. Let Venus smooth over the conflicts and reconnect to what is real. That full moon in Sagittarius and being the ruler of Mercury is going to put a spotlight on your beliefs, your ideas, and the truths. You could have some big answers coming your way, some major adventures, and some honesty. And it's not really working with your ego or yourself or your father, okay? Mercury in Cancer is more private, is more cautious, is more nurturing. So there could be some emotional conflict that day, even though you have that Venus being positive, but you have to put in the work when there's a sextile. There could be truth versus comfort, wisdom and intuition. There could be some type of fogginess happening there because the moon is in conflict there, and it's still squaring these planets here. So you do need to know that, okay? Now on the 12th of June, now it's opposing, and I'm not going to do this every time, but I just want you to understand that this moon is in charge of Mercury, and now it's like the moon is not even getting along with our emotions. So emotional pull, head versus your heart. Cancer's watery softness is clashing with Capricorn's gold digging energy, okay? Capricorn's like, I'm trying to build a legacy here. You just want to sit at home. So you got to find a balance between honoring both the home and your hard work. Then on the 21st of June, I know a few people who were born on the 21st of June. It's going to trine North Node in Pisces and sextile to South Node. This is all about our karma. This is all about our destiny. What are we meant to do in this lifetime? And it's working really good with this. So a beautiful opening for soulful karmic conversations, words that guide you towards your purpose, and releasing some old patterns of being perfect, of criticism. Trust your instincts. Speak from the heart. There's magic, and it's very authentic, and it's very intuitive that day. Now on the 23rd of June, you have Mercury and it's squaring Chiron. Chiron is the planet of healing. It's in the sign Aries, so healing the self. Words may sting or bring up old wounds, especially around asserting yourself, doing something first, or being bold, or feeling seen. Don't let fear reject silence from you. No, don't let fear of rejection, okay, affect you, okay? This is a chance to heal and expressing yourself. Now, on the 25th of June, we have a new moon in Cancer. This is affecting our Mercury, and it's in a great place. It's conjunct Cancer, Jupiter in Cancer. So this is very positive. So Mercury's happy here. The new moon in Cancer and Mercury in Cancer. You're talking about your thoughts and your feelings. It's all in sync. There's clear, heartfelt intentions, your intuition, there's sensitivity, being empathetic, a lot of new ideas and fresh conversations. Now, when there is a new moon, you don't really do. You use this time to write things down. You use this time to feel it. You use this time to cleanse, okay? You can take a bath because you are talking about water energy. Set intentions around your family, your home, being nurturing, safe environment. Let your words seed, okay, what you want to grow in the next 6 months. It is a powerful reset. Now, on the 26th of June, we have this Mercury in where's my Mercury? I need to take this off actually. Let me take that off because it's really annoying me. Where are we? I can't take it. If you guys know, that is the sign for Lucifer, okay? Things I was looking up. That's why you need to look at my private community. Anyway, sextile Uranus. Mercury is going to sextile Uranus. Where's my Uranus here? Where's Uranus? Here we go. Oh, 29 degrees. Okay. So before it even enters Leo, it's going to sextile Uranus. This is fast energy. This is very unexpected insights or breakthroughs or conversations, shakeups, and unusual patterns, thinking outside of the box. Really use that energy because this is a great energy for new ideas, sudden changes, and fresh connections. Okay, so even in social media, there's something there, and it's something dealing with your home, your family, your past, and it's something dealing with what you value in money and finances as well. Okay, then Mercury will enter the sign Leo, and you're talking about a shift in communication, boy. You're talking about being bold on stage, the drama, conflicts, expressive energy, speaking your truth with confidence and flair. Okay, now I do want you to understand while Mercury is in Cancer, the ruler of Mercury in Cancer is going to be the moon. And while the moon is the ruler, you're dealing with a lot of emotions. Okay, so your mind and words are trying to work with your feelings, okay? And it could be very moody. So you got to honor the natural rhythms of the moon. You got to speak from your heart. You got to trust your gut. Let your instinct guide you when it comes to your words, okay? So that is what we have for Mercury. I'm also going to do horoscopes with Mercury in a minute, but right now I'm going to drink some water and then we're going to go into Jupiter. I have some extra stuff for Jupiter, but before that, everyone need to like this video. How is everyone doing with Uranus and Taurus? As a Sagittarius rising, Uranus and Taurus is in my house of health. Very interesting, the interesting things happening, the goings ons of there. But as I'm looking at this, you see that it's going to be 29 degrees. So a lot of things closing off there. We'll get into that in a little later date. But as of now, let's talk about Jupiter because Jupiter is changing. Where is my Jupiter? Jupiter now changes. We'll bring it back. Bring it on back. Mercury moves fast. Jupiter does not move as fast, right? Jupiter, let me just tell you the themes of Jupiter, okay? Jupiter themes. Jupiter has a strong social dimension. There's a strong aspect of socializing with Jupiter. It is concerned with the social glue that holds everything together. That's why it rules over law and the legal system, as well as people and the power of people and government officials. And it also shares that function with the sun as well. Jupiter can also represents problems with law, and Jupiter enters any type of house. Where it enters a house, that is where you are trying to grow. So when we get into the horoscopes, which I have done already, then you can remember that. In the horoscopes, I'm going to talk about some tips of Jupiter. And it also makes you wiser and more successful as a person wherever that Jupiter touches. One issue with Jupiter is that you should be careful for what you want because you're likely to get it in Jupiter unless there's Saturn involved, which limits Jupiter. But Jupiter likes to expand and bring luck and positivity and optimism into whatever you want. So when it's in the sign Cancer, those themes, it wants to bring positivity into those. Okay, it is still fairly easy because it is such a positive planet. However, those are times when you're not careful, it could be in excess. So if Jupiter is in opposition or in square, then it could be overbearing or doing too much or just a lot of, and where you're like, well, what do you want out a lot of? You don't want to overeat. It can make you obese. People who have Jupiter in the first house, that is usually the problem. Wherever Jupiter lies is where it can make things expensive, and if it has a square or opposition, that's where it becomes overload. Other than that, it's a very positive planet. Jupiter also signifies some of the highest aspects of your life, your overall life view, your attitude towards religion, your sense of idealism. Jupiter can also be your consciousness, expanding influence. Jupiter is a cosmic coach saying, think big, grow, explore, trust that there's always more to learn and share. Jupiter is like the higher octave of Mercury, even though I have to say Uranus is too, but Jupiter is the opposite side of Mercury, right? Because Gemini and Sagittarius, they're on opposites playing field, and Gemini is, traveling your day to day. Sagittarius is traveling the world, okay? It expands the future. Jupiter brings opportunity to your doorstep. It can also bring new possibility. What else do we have? Jupiter arrives at a trigger point because it provides healing and regeneration through an influx of hope, luck, and self-confidence. There might be a form of crisis, a bankruptcy, a death, a separation, even an oppressive parent. All that could be involved in Jupiter, but it's really at the end of the day bringing positivity in your life. The trap with Jupiter is that the temptation to let ourselves be lowered into foolishness while basking in a warm feeling of the glitz and the glam of Jupiter. You can get a little lazy. You could be overconfident. You could be a little arrogant because you're overly optimistic. And the lie is that you don't have to worry about everything and everything would take care of itself with Jupiter. So be careful. That is the imbalance of things. That's when you're overdoing it and you're not thinking in harmony. Jupiter is the inner enemy where you create your own egos. So you create your own misfortune. It is the energy where we are lucky, but perhaps not as lucky as we feel. We start to lack the details that are very important because Jupiter only wants to see the bigger picture and not the smaller picture. So you have to be aware of that when Jupiter is involved. We all pray to some of the glitters is not a good scenario. I don't know what I was typing there. I speak into my notes and sometimes it's just la 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 la. Okay. Yeah, don't overextend with Jupiter because that can be happening. So other things in Jupiter, expansion and growth. I said that. Optimism. There is faith. There is internal optimistic energy, trusting in the process. Again, abundance, prosperity, luck, wealth, good life. Opportunities and blessing. Jupiter represents philosophy and beliefs, your belief system, spirituality, and personal philosophy, meaning and purpose. Jupiter is religion. And not every time you talk about religion are you talking about the emotional aspect of religion. That is more Pisces energy, okay? When you're talking about religion, it's more about the philosophical side of it. Okay, now higher learning, education, wisdom, learning and teaching, traveling, exploring, adventures, exploration. Also, there's generosity, goodwill, there's big hearted, sharing, giving, uplifting others, justice and ethics, bringing justice to a higher fairness kind of energy, faith in the future, growth through experience, overindulgence, excess, waste, going overboard, arrogant, self righteous, moral superiority, again, procrastinating, lacking, and trying to have luck in time and it's not going your way, false optimism, distraction, dogma, rigid or dogmatic, escaping reality, forcing views on others is what dogmatic means, running away from responsibility, taking unnecessary risk, overpromising, promises more than it can deliver, lets down or disappointment, entitlement and privilege energy. Do know that again, Jupiter represents legal systems, court, and a pursuit of fairness. Now, when I say all that, know that it's dealing with Cancer themes, right? And Cancer rules the stomach, Cancer rules the breast. So all those things could be expanding, getting bigger while Jupiter is in Cancer. So a lot of pregnant people, a lot of people getting overweight, a lot of issues with the wombs are big things, discussions of the wombs, expansion of the wombs. A lot of people getting boobs bigger than ever, like the world Guinness record of the woman with the biggest boobs. That could be happening, or even men getting boobs. That could be happening while Jupiter's in Cancer, okay? Cancer represents a caregiver within a family or forming a family as well as Cancer. Cancer is a self-protective energy, acting according to the moods. It's about feeling into intuitive energy, emotions. Cancer is the energy of won't give up because it has tenacity. Cancer energy can be withdrawn under pressure. It is about the power of intuition. Feelings are very paramount with Cancer. A lot of emotions, a lot of not being rational. Okay. Get ready for that. It's about going back to one's source, one's roots, feeling part of something, emotional awareness, awareness of the past, childhood, family, mother, homeland, your country, and what else we have? Even your community, okay? The need to have emotional security or to feel nurtured, to feel supported, to feel safe. Cancer energy is not ever fulfilled, okay? Because it has a fear of losing what they truly love. It could be smothering. Cancer energy is an essential to social good. In every group, there must be a Cancer energy, or it's not gonna hold. Okay, Cancer provides the energy to help with the rational thinking, the coldness, the depth. Cancer brings that warm, emotional entanglement, clinginess to it. And if you don't have those, then you won't have a family. Cancer creates the family. Okay, it's about your emotions, your intuition, your home, your family, nurturing, caring, your memory, nostalgia. Your traditions is very Cancer energy, security, security, financial security, emotional security, any type of security. Okay. Also, it's a water sign. So a lot of water element is going to be serious with this. Any type of maternal, mothering, even father is dealing with that because not everyone has a mother, and your father was your security blanket, your emotional security backing. So you have that. There's a lot of focus on family, and there's a lot of focus on a physical home, real estate, emotional climate, protecting what you think is vulnerable. Also is dealing with Cancer energy, your cultural roots, food and nourishment, because you are talking about any type of form of security, emotional waves, mood swings, emotionally, collectively, personally, shelter. And when you talk about the unhoused and homeless, all that is dealing with Cancer energy. You could even be dealing with hotels and motels. That could be dealing with someone's home. Mother Earth, it's a Cancer energy too. The environment is also Cancer energy. So when Jupiter is in the sign Cancer, right, the bigger picture, because literally Jupiter is the big picture. Jupiter in Cancer wants us to expand comfort and wants us to nurture our emotions and our well-being. And Jupiter in Cancer wants you to protect the home and a family life. Okay. Cancer likes to be in a sign Jupiter. It thrives here. It's amplifying emotional intelligence. There's a lot of maternal energy and a sense of belonging. Jupiter favors Cancer, not as much because of the emotional quality. It's because it shares the Cancer's protective feeling and the desire to support those that are still growing. Now, remember, I told you that Jupiter, the planet, has a strong sense of having a social unite. Well, remember, I told you that Cancer is the reason why we have family, why we have support. And that's why this Jupiter loves the sign Cancer. So there's positivity when Jupiter is in Cancer for sure. At the same time, there's a lot of expansion. So we'll get into things. Now, Jupiter in Cancer is a lot of creative flow, a lot of family policies, a lot of policies on home. So you're talking about affordable housing, family welfare, domestic security, a lot of preserve culture, heritage, any type of traditions when it comes to your culture, emotional well-being, emotional abundance, feeling fulfilled, a lot of homes being expanded or renovated or investing in homes, a lot of family healing, supporting a family environment, discussing what is a family. Let's see what else we have. Again, real estate, I said that, booms in the housing market, that could be happening. We'll get into it a little bit more. Okay. Policies or incentives, larger houses, family compounds, co-housing, a thing with the water, oceans, river. That's going to be big themes. Selling, boating, fish, marine. Yeah. Did I say that? Interested in a boating or a cruise or anything dealing with water themes. Get ready for that. Legal changes around water, legal changes around homes, legal changes around family policies, legal around your safety, your past, your ancestry, domestic life, and family. You know, there could be some new laws about the ancestry, how you do the ancestry swaps too. A legal focus on family and law, emotional and climate issues. I said that right already. Or maybe even something legal with the water. What else do we have? Emotional health, mental health, trauma care, fishing and breeding. That could be a thing. Like maybe you're overfishing. That could be happening. Let me see. I said law and justice, religion. Maybe people are more spiritual at home, or there's some more religious. Cancer is a very divine feminine energy. So there could be something with motherhood and religion, optimism and expansion when it comes to your nurturing, your family, your past, your ancestry, the economy, security, all that is going to be themes. Now, listen, I know Jupiter, I said, is very positive. When you check out the original video, you'll see more of the scary things, okay? Because I go in detail of that. Now, collectively, we can have some limits or some expansions dealing with anything dealing with the family in the past and all that stuff, and your roots, financial or housing expansion, real estate. All these are going to be big things. Fertility in the womb, maternal health, all that is going to be big themes coming up with Jupiter in Cancer. A lot of nurturing. And remember, now the moon is in charge of Jupiter. So anytime there's an eclipse while Jupiter is in Cancer, anytime the moon, there's a full moon, a new moon, a quarter moon, all that is going to affect our collective moods, our tides, and a rise with the fall of the moon and a new moon and a full moon. All that is going to be supercharging Jupiter. Now, I'm going to talk about some dates here. with Jupiter, I want you to understand when Jupiter first enters Cancer, first of all, it gets conjunct with Mercury. So there's could be some big announcement when it comes to the homes and real estate and all that stuff, everything that I just said earlier. But when we first enter, when Jupiter first enters Cancer, I want you to understand that, let me see, that it is going to square Neptune and, okay, here we go. So it's going to square Neptune and Saturn. Okay. Now, when it squares Saturn, this is where I think we will have some limitations when it comes to our home, our country, and a lot of things dealing with policies of our homes, people buying homes, people not being able to afford homes. What is a home? What is the traditional value of the home? There's going to be a limitation with the government with this, and it's going to be something new. Okay. So that is what we first get with this. A lot of limitation, burdens, restrictions. Saturn represents the government. Saturn represents the devil. Okay. Yes, it also represents higher some lessons. There's some challenges. Okay. So even time, even taking a long time with housing. Okay, the housing market. That could be a big thing. Now, also too, when it squares Neptune as well. We'll scooch it over. There's when it was square at Saturn, and then it was square Neptune, which is conjunct Saturn. A lot of fogginess. Again, there is deception. There is maybe a false like prophet leader kind of thing. There is collective mood swings when it comes to emotional hope and confusion. There could be like escapism happening here, a lot of drug use, some new drugs, maybe some new type of drugs within the home that could be happening. Neptune does represent drugs, so that's why I'm saying that. Illusions, secrets, conspiracy theories, new conspiracy theories regarding the home or regarding homeland. I just want you to know America represents Cancer. That's why I talked about Cancer, the sun in Cancer. Also Southern California, also too, just so you know. On the 23rd, but just know there's confusion, there's delusions, there's lost in the sauce energy here. Conspiracy theories. Now on the 23rd of June, is going to quincunx Pluto. So there is some discomfort happening here. There is a challenge. It could be intense. It could be dealing with power. It could be dealing with free speech. It could be dealing with boycotting. It could be dealing with something that's very AI kind of situation. Okay. So also too, there will be a Kazemi happening around this time too. You see the sun's getting close here. So when you have this Kazemi, there's like a lot of optimism or a huge highlight when it comes to home. So I just want you to understand in June, when Jupiter enters Cancer, it's a really big deal. You're going to see the themes, everything that I said in this video is going to really be expansive, really optimistic, really radiant, and a lot of negativity, a lot of overdoing, a lot of overpromising when it comes to the housing market. So get ready when it comes to June, okay? And then around June 14th is when it was square Saturn. But all that is happening in June. Now, as we move into August, June, July, August. Do I have anything for July? I have all the dates, but we'll move into August. Okay, come on. Here we go. August. So when we move into August of 2025, we do have a conjunction with, where's my Jupiter? With Venus. This is two positive planets. This is going to happen August 11th. So a lot of love, a lot of happiness, a lot of positivity. So that is very loving, especially when it comes to all the family and the past and nostalgia and all that stuff, or even with your mom. Now, I do want you to know that when it hits 15 degrees Jupiter, then that is when it starts to post shadow retrograde. That's when it begins. That's when Jupiter is slowing down. There is revisiting family and home projects. Jupiter is not working the way that it should. A lot of going inward, a lot of patience when it comes to the process of your security and your past. And my butt is like tired of sitting down. Yeah, but just know that. And Jupiter retrogrades in November. Okay. But before we get there, September to to October, there will be some tensions because these planets move into the sign Libra, and there'll be tensions there. And when it comes to relationships, anything dealing with law, harmony and balance, aesthetics, there's something there, and it's going to be affecting our homes and our past. Around October to November, then you're dealing with more positive energy because all these planets move into Scorpio, and this is a trine. So you're dealing with positive emotions, emotional breakthroughs, deep healing, the mysteries are working with you, the things that are very taboo, you going to get some therapy, all that is very soulful and positive. And then it's going to retrograde. Okay, so let me move it over to where it starts to, where's our Jupiter? Yeah, there we go. It starts to retrograde, and then this is when we have to review and refine how we nurture, how we build security. This is where I think the problems are going to be when it comes to the negative part of Jupiter. This is when Jupiter is not acting its best, is overdoing. There's the policies of the home and a family and people getting houses and feeling safe. All this is going to be an issue. This is also getting very close to the LA of the Mars retrograding at that 29 degrees. So we'll see how LA is affected with this, and maybe revisiting that whole issue we had with the fires, or maybe even more, just so you know. It does represent Southern California. Now, around January, but the retrogrades will be happening around that time. And around November is when you get the more negative side of Jupiter. And then when you hit June, no, Jane, when I hit, why do I have, okay, January. Okay, so November, now we're in January. So when you hit January, where is my Jupiter here? It's still retrograding. It's going to retrograde all the way back at 15 degrees, which is like the middle. So it's got to go it's like halfway going back. Okay. But when it happens here, then this is when you start to see oppositions with the government. So housing and government, it comes back up. A lot of oppositions with the planets there. You even see a new moon in Capricorn. Ooh, child. So, and it's not happy with Jupiter in a big way. So that's going to be clashes between your home and your family, work and government. Working government versus your home and family. Okay, or a big corporation representing something that's dealing with your past and your safety. Okay, March 10th is when Jupiter will stop retrograding. It will go direct, and that will be at 15 degrees. 15 degree is another degree. It's a big deal. I think in Nikolai represents like car accidents, but it is a huge degree as well. Let me see. It's midpoint. It's stabilizing energy. It's an anchor. It's a root when it comes to emotional growth. Yeah, get ready for that. That's going to be pretty big. And then when it stops retrograding at 15 degrees, that's March 10th. I said that. A sweet spot for strengthening home, life, healing family dynamics, and deepening your roots is what I have here. Now, around spring of 2026, then you have, where is my Jupiter? Jupiter is still moving forward, right? But now the planets are in Aries, and this is squaring Jupiter, and it's not really happy. So a lot of things are expanding and getting bigger. And then as we move into June, then Jupiter will be at 29 degrees. Moving too fast, but it will be at 29 degrees around June, and that's when it's got to hurry up in the sign Cancer. All the discussions of our past and our homes and real estate and our safety, all that becomes bigger. Water even could be an issue that could be happening either with the weather or literally with the resource water. Final burst of heart center growth on June 30th of 2026. Jupiter will enter Leo, and it will change its focus from nurturing to protecting, to self-expression and joy and creative leadership. Okay, a lot of drama when it happens. Okay, so Jupiter in Cancer is going to bring a collective surge of nurturing. Do know that there's going to be big themes of the home and big themes of the past. And yeah, we're getting a start of it because Mercury is entering Cancer. And then right after that, we have Jupiter in Cancer. So if you guys have a lot of business when it comes to real estate, if you got a lot of business when it comes to homes and physical homes, and you want to know about all these apartments that are being built. I don't know if you live in a 5-minute city, but all these things are going to be bigger. Just get ready. I've discussed these things already, but home focus expansion, a lot of nurturing, a lot of things of the past, emotional rooms, a lot of people being overly sensitive. All that is going to happen when Jupiter enters Cancer. Okay. Now I'm going to play my sponsor, which is the video is sponsored by myself, amazing sponsor. I'm going to drink some water and then we'll come back with horoscopes. Now, when I discuss the horoscopes, I've already done horoscopes on Jupiter and Cancer. So check out that past video on my 2025 playlist. It will be linked down below. But I am going to add in this horoscope, which is about Mercury entering Cancer, I am going to add some tips of Jupiter in Cancer and what you can do with that. All right. Hello there, my beautiful souls. I am Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. Are you ready to take your spiritual journey to the next level? Introducing Danyell's Astro Tarot Elite Club, your exclusive getaway to daily insights, cosmic guidance, and so much more for just $4.99 a month. As a member, you'll receive daily readings designed to align your day with the universe's energy. Start each day with clarity and confidence. Do you need a personal reading, or do you want to have your astrology chart read fully? With being a member, you also can enjoy exclusive discounts on all my offerings just for our elite members only. All for just $4.99 a month. That's less than. Okay, you guys. So, before we do horoscopes, I want to do a collective reading while Mercury's in Cancer for the collective. What is it going to be? How's it going to be feeling working with the collective? So, I pulled the 10 of Wands while you guys were listening to the sponsor. The 10 of Wands is like a heavy load, right? And it's a heavy load and it's climbing up a mountain. But in this card, it looks like you already climbed the mountain. The mountain is over. And with Mercury in Cancer, I think there's going to be a lot of heavy discussions, but now the conversations are getting easier. So while Mercury is in Gemini, maybe the discussions are happening and now you're being more soft with your conversations. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. This is a lot of inward energy, not very external energy. This is really thinking about your security and you're thinking about it and you're reviewing it, okay? Security when it comes to your finances, when it comes to your health. I know Cancer doesn't seem like a health problem, but it could be dealing with your health far as the things that Cancer rules. So Cancer, you could be thinking about your breast, okay, because it rules the breast. It could be dealing with your wombs. If you are a man, it still is representing fertility, okay? Now we also have, and there is a lot of processing that mentally. Now we lastly have the 3 of Pentacles. So a lot of collaboration, learning from the youth, learning from young ones, and maybe as a family, someone in your family, you're going to be learning a lot and discussing a lot with them as a collective, or we will be paying attention to that as a collective, okay? Now, when you do your rising signs, people, Children of the Corn, who knows that movie? Sometimes I say that and the kids are like, what are you saying? What is Children of the Corn? I don't know where I got Children of the Corn, but I know it's a movie. But when you do your horoscopes, please check your sun, moon, and rising sign. If you check your rising sign, it's more accurate to you and who you are without us even getting to know your personal planet. So you have that. When you check your sun, it talks about what you're physically trying to achieve. When you check your moon sign, it talks about the inward you, your emotional achievements, okay? What you emotionally achieve. If you put all 3 together, oh my gosh, you have a fulfilled horoscope, okay? So let's get into it. And this is what we're talking about when it comes to Mercury. How you think, how you communicate, how you process information, what emails and text messages are you going to receive? What are the major conversations? So Aries risings, we will start with you. And I'm going to pull a tarot as we do this. Mercury in Cancer, it turns your mind inward and it's going to help you resolve some family issues and strengthen your foundations. Conversations are going to be centered around your ancestral, your past, your real estate, home, domestic matters. Now, you could be feeling more protective about your space or finally deciding to tackle some home projects that you've been putting off. Watch out for any mood swings when it comes to conversations. This is a very sensitive placement, okay? Let me see what we have here. Sandra, hello. Thank you, Danyell, for sharing your wisdom, insight, and knowledge. Thank you so much, Sandra, for commenting and joining me. I appreciate it a lot. Now, back to Aries. Jupiter tips for you is build a cozy, nurturing environment. You have a year to do this, okay? That truly feels like home. Let yourself release some old family patterns. This is a house, this is a placement of growth when it comes to your family and your house. You may become a mother. Okay, this is not the house of fertility, but it could be a sign of mother, grandmother, or something being stronger with your family and your mother. Speaking of, we have the Ten of Cups. It's going to be abundance for family with Mercury in Cancer. With Jupiter in Cancer, there could be some conflict happening because you're overdoing something, okay? Remember what everything I said about Jupiter, how you overdo, overpromise. Be careful with that. I'm going to give you a tip right here. It's all about the finances. Think about your money and your security. All right. Let yourself release old patterns, and you're allowed. Why do I have that? You are allowed to grow beyond them. All right. I will see you guys next time. Bye. Okay, Taurus, this themes for you is third house themes. So you're talking about communication, sibling, your local life, your community. Mercury is going to soften that voice. It's going to make you more of a compassionate leader. I mean, communicator, especially when you're talking about talking to your neighbors and your community and your siblings, or even like at school. There could be heartfelt talks in your neighborhood or having some connections there. Watch out for oversharing with some nostalgia things or really get into the details of things. Let's see what we have from Mercury in Cancer. We have the Nine of Cups in reverse. This is someone who's like looking at all the things that they have, and it's like you're releasing them emotionally because you are dealing with emotions here. A lot of releasing. Maybe you're releasing things from the past and you're sharing them. We have the World here, a lot of ups and downs. Also, destiny and karma is coming your way when you have this card being pulled. Jupiter in Cancer is going. Here's some tips here. Share your personal stories with those around you, and your words can heal. Be mindful of a burnout. Don't overextend your social energy. We have the Temperance, and the Temperance is about healing. So you could be healing a lot of people while Jupiter is in Taurus. Also, you need to practice everything in moderation. Okay. Again, like I said, don't overextend. I will see you next time. Bye. Okay, Gemini, Jupiter. Well, Jupiter and Mercury are entering your second house. This is about your finances, what you value, your self worth. Mercury in Cancer is going to make you have discussions about finances. Okay. It could be a little bit more emotional. You may be feeling more protective about your finances. It's a great time to budget and use your intuition to do it, or be aligned with your spending emotionally. Don't overspend if you're sad, okay? Watch out for letting feelings guide your impulsive purchases. Balance comfort with practicality. You don't need to spend money on your mom. Okay. We have the Eight of Cups. You are going to, while Mercury's in Cancer, you're going to be walking away from things that no longer serve you. You will be changing your finances. Okay. Jupiter in Cancer. Trust your intuition when making financial decisions. Feelings matter. Don't let mood swings lead you to overspending. Stay grounded. This is going to feel like you have a lot of money. However, we have the Five of Pentacles. Okay. The Five of Pentacles is feeling like you're lacking. So you could be over promising a lot of money. You could be over promise a lot of money. Or overspending. Okay. Be aware of that. Let me see, Geminis, what you can do with that lack. You have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. This is someone who's moving too fast. Okay. Usually you want to move slow. You got to move slow. You got to pay attention to the details. You got to go back and review a lot of things. And also, too, you just have to be a penny pincher. This is a time to save a lot of money. All right. Move slow, pay attention to details. Also, like it's like someone who's anxious about money. Okay. Yes. So be aware of that. All right. I will see you guys next time. Bye. Okay, Cancers. Mercury in the sign Cancer is going to amplify the house of self. Okay, a lot of discussions of yourself. Okay, I love that. I'm a Cancer sun. Emotional clarity, gentle self-expression. You feel more comfortable about sharing your personal truths. There could be energy of advocating for yourself, discussing yourself. Watch for over accommodating others. Remember to nurture yourself too. This is about you. Me. We have the Four of Pentacles. This is saying keep your cards close to yourself. Don't overshare things about yourself. But it is about having confidence. But also there's needs to be setting some boundaries and keeping some things for yourself. We have a rebirth. That makes sense. There is going to be a change, a transformation on how you think. And I'm thinking there's going to be a transformation of how you think about your confidence and who you truly are and how you express yourself. Okay. Now, Jupiter in Taurus in Cancer is going to be in that first house, and it's show up with kindness and authenticity. Your soft side is your strength. Be careful not to overextend yourself trying to please everyone. We have the Two of Wands here. This is someone who is really researching and thinking more about the world beyond your limits, okay? But you're learning a lot, and you're going to learn a lot about yourself, all right? Take advantage of that because you are going to grow. All right, I will see you next time. Bye. Leos, this is entering your 12th house, Mercury and Jupiter. Mercury in the 12th house is going to awaken your dreams and your intuition. You might be more spiritual. You might be dealing with things that are very hidden and secretive, or things that are very behind the scenes. It's great for journaling, meditating. It could be a powerful energy for really tapping into spirituality and using your intuition. Watch for being withdrawn, or thinking that you're lonely, or thinking in lack, or thinking of insecurity, or even solitude. But solitude is positive, but loneliness, be aware of that. And also addiction and drugs, okay, and using that when you're very emotional or moody, be aware of that. Now, what do we have for that? We have the Ace of Wands. This energy of solitude is going to bring some creativity for you. It's going to, God is giving you this opportunity to get fired up, and it's going to boost some confidence in yourself, okay? Jupiter in Cancer is going to carve out time for you to be alone, and your spirits need it. This is a year of solitude, which is great, and also tapping into your intuition and being close to God and guiding yourself, not others. Okay. People are going to be like, why do you want to be by yourself? You have the Magician. I think this is the energy of really working your magic. There's infinite possibilities. It's very positive. This is manifesting. This is you learning that you have all the abilities that God has given you. You have all the gifts that God has given you, and you really taking advantage of that. All right, Leos, I will see you guys next time. Bye. Okay, Virgos. Mercury and Jupiter is going to enter your 11th house of friendships, community, science, space, astrology, your hopes and dreams. Mercury is going to connect you with some friends and some groups. You're really going to be networking, okay? Old friends may resurface. You can also find yourself involved in a local cause, something dealing with homes, like joining a home network, or like joining your, you know how they have those HOAs kind of things or whatever. Yeah, so talking on taking on everyone's emotional weight. Be aware of that and honor your boundaries. Now, Jupiter in Cancer is going to enter that house too, so you're going to see community with feeling safe and supportive. They're going to help you grow. Avoid getting lost in everyone's else's need. Protect your boundaries. Yeah, there's going to be expansion in technology for you, expansion in maybe using AI. A lot of your hopes and dreams are going to be very fulfilled. You have the Ten of Swords. Usually the Ten of Swords has got the sword stabbing you in your back when it comes to words, and that could be happening when it comes to this group. And you're going to be feeling really sensitive when it comes to any type of friend, because this is dealing with friendship. This is going to be starting to really focus on learning something new when it comes to your career, when it comes to long-term energy, not just like the short-term energy. Jupiter in Cancer for you is going to be very positive. There's optimism, there is success, there's happiness for displacement. So all the Jupiter aspects is going to be a blessing when it comes to your work, not your work, but your networking and all that stuff. All right. Even AI. All right. I will see you next time. Bye. Libras, Jupiter and Mercury enters your 10th house of career, public image, and goals. A lot of discussion on that. A lot of back and forth with your family and work. Maybe you're working from home. Letting your feelings shape your career decisions without fact checking. Jupiter is going to bring some emotional intelligence, some superpowers, some leadership roles. You're going to expand when it comes to your work here. Mercury in Cancer for you is a lot of King of Swords, very positive. You're going to get a lot of truth. You're going to be acknowledged as a leader when it comes to any form of communicating, when it comes to emails, letters, anything you have to write is going to be very positive for you. And then Jupiter in Cancer is going to let you see higher ground. You're going to be expanding your world. It could be traveling as well, maybe through work, taking your home, or maybe even changing your home with work, or somehow working from home but traveling somehow. Let's see if that resonates with you in any way. But make sure your public goals align with your personal values, and your authenticity will win. All right, I will see you next time. Bye. Scorpios, ninth house. Mercury and Jupiter are going to enter your house of travel, wisdom, and beliefs. This is major Jupiter energy, okay? But Mercury in Cancer is going to inspire you to have spiritual conversations, heartfelt traveling, maybe even traveling with your mom or dad, or even with your family. What feels like is nurturing the soul is what you're going to be experiencing more when it comes to your beliefs and philosophy. Prediction, a great time to study topics related to family, psychology, or healing. This also is a house of astrology, too. Watch for emotional biases clouding objectivity in debates. Seek balance. This is a house of law. This is a house of travel and adventure. This is a house of higher education. Jupiter is going to expand all of that, okay? So let your gut guide you toward philosophies and spiritual paths that feel nurturing. Balance your curiosity with the need to feel emotionally safe. With Mercury entering Cancer, we have the Knight of Wands. You're going to be very passionate, very fired up. Okay. This is someone who's protecting, maybe even protecting your home or somewhere that you're very adventurous, but you're going to be feeling very adventurous, very courageous. Jupiter entering Cancer, we have the Nine of Swords. This is someone who is like losing sleep. Maybe you're doing too much. Okay. Maybe you are too fired up and you need to calm down. Okay. Let me give you a card that will help with that. There's going to be a new start journey. You need to release. You need to have faith. You need to believe in God because God has divine timing. But don't release everything. Yes, release everything to God, but you still got to do the work. Like you still got to study. You can have optimism, but you can have optimism and faith, but you have to do the research. Okay, you can't just be lazy. All right. But it looks like you're too fired up. Okay. The fire is great. You want it to inspire you. However, it can't overdo too much because then you get burnt out. All right. I will see you next time. Bye. Sagittarius, Mercury and Jupiter is going to enter your eighth house. This eighth house is intimacy, shared resources, power, mystery, debts, taxes, inheritance, things that are very taboo, psychology, a house of transformation. Okay. This could represent rebirth, a death of some sort. Okay. So Mercury in Cancer is going to deep dive and it's going to expect some powerful conversations around money, around intimacy, around trust. Okay. Healing old wounds in an intimate relationship, or maybe you're going to be addressing some shared finances and really discussing that and being more sensitive about that. Okay. Watch for holding back truths out of fear. Vulnerability can be your superpower now. Now, when we have Mercury in Cancer, you have the Two of Swords. It's like you're lost in a sauce. You can't decide. You're at a soulmate. It's like, what decision should I make? And you got to go off of your intuition. This is the Emperor. You're going to try something new. You're going to have to set some boundaries as well. You have to be a leader. This is a sign of Aries, being bold and courageous, starting something new. When it comes to your communication, okay? So it looks like when it's in Cancer, it's like, I don't want to say those things. No, but you have to. You have to be a leader, okay? Now, or you're like stuck. And you're stuck because you're not being brave. Okay. Now, far as Jupiter entering that house, allow yourself to be vulnerable. There's power and soft truths. Don't let power dynamics overshadow your desire to nurture and to be nurtured. We have the Queen of Wands, very positive. This is someone who's very compassionate and fired up. This is someone who's creative. They believe in their God. They believe in their faith. They believe in their creativity, and are setting up boundaries and are being strong. They're being courageous. All the fire and drive, all the passion is very loving and nurturing at the same time. You're being supported with this energy of creativity. All right. Sagittarius in that eighth house of intimacy. So maybe even falling in love and being in love, but really having the strength to really talk about some deep rooted issues. All right. I will see you guys next time. You're going to have growth in that leadership. All right. Bye. Okay, Capricorns. Seventh house. This is the house of relationship, collaboration, and partnership. When Cancer is in there, you're going to be talking to your loved ones. You're going to be talking to your partners, or they're going to be talking to you. Okay. Maybe even a business partner. There's some healing, renegotiating, even something with law when it comes to your family or your mom. All that could be involved here. Avoid conflict to keep the peace. Assert your needs too. Jupiter in that entering Cancer is going to expand your partner, bring good luck to your partner or your business partner. I find that displacement really means the partner, not really you. So you are just watching them as they do it. Now, far as you, is going to expand positive things when it comes to your creativity and art and aesthetics. That for sure will be happening, and your inner harmony and balance. We have the King of Cups. This is great, positive emotional maturity, processing things, very compassionate and healing and loving and spirituality. When it comes to Jupiter in Cancer, again, there's romance, there's relationship, there's positivity when it comes to spirituality and love. So very positive placement for you guys. I will see you next time. Bye. Okay, Aquarius, this is going to be your sixth house of work, health, and daily routines. There's something big and positive is going to happen when it comes to your health. You might be having some emotional health, or this could be dealing with some coworkers as well. A lot of sensitive conversation with coworkers. Watch out for letting emotions cloud your judgment when it comes to your health life, when it comes to your work life. Jupiter is going to create a work environment that feels very emotionally supportive. Don't let worry about perfection keep you from nurturing yourself. This is the house of lovers, so it's going to be very loving when it comes to yourself and your body and your health. When it comes to your daily routines or even giving service to others, you're going to be more loving. When it comes to Jupiter in Cancer, there is a lot of research and learning and being very passionate about learning of the home, learning of your health, learning about being sensitive to your own needs. All right, I will see you next time. Bye. Pisces, welcome. Jupiter and Mercury are going to enter your fifth house, and that is the house of creativity, romance, and playfulness, your self-expression. Mercury in Cancer is going to light up your creative expression. Your words flow from the heart and feel extra poetic. For predictions, I have that romance and dating gets a little sweet boost. Your charm could be very magnetic. You're having fun, and you're having fun more at home. You're having fun more with your kids. Watch for getting lost in daydreams. Remember to ground yourself, ground your ideas into reality. And for Jupiter in Cancer, could be a young fire sign who could be your kids. So like a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. Are you starting to embody that spark and drive as when you were younger, and you're more curious, and you're getting messages of like, have fun. Okay, really spark that passion that really makes you happy. Jupiter in Taurus is going to let you have creative flows in ways that you feel emotionally rich. Don't forget to play the savor of fun and balance your work and pleasure. When Venus hits this house, when it conjuncts Jupiter, and look up the dates, what I said, I would suggest hitting the lottery, okay? Playing the lottery. For Jupiter in Cancer, we have the King of Wands. There's a lot of fire. There's a lot of drive. There's a lot of passion. There's a lot of bravery, a lot of success when it comes to being an entrepreneur of some sort, but really expressing yourself and being yourself. Very positive placement for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. And yeah, tomorrow, let me see what we have coming up here. I think the next video is going to be on the full moon here. Yeah, Sagittarius full moon. We got Mars entering Virgo on the 17th, and then we have our solar return to our Cancers coming up on the 20th. All right, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye bye.